Hi, Tomek here. Welcome to another episode of ODRA Valley. Today we are going to focus on one of the entrances to the city and of course the old town, which is probably the thing that I like the most in all of my projects. The first thing that I did here was this railway bridge. I actually use it a lot in probably every of my project in City Skylines. It's one of my favorite assets. In here I also made this flawed embankment, which is which is securing the city and in this case the other side of the river from flooding, which is actually in this region is quite common. In real life, in 1997 there was this big flood that actually, also apart from main cities across the ODRA river, of course Trzcinawa was also partly flooded. Also in 2024 there was another big flood, but it's actually, flood is just basically a very common tragedy in this region. You saw me earlier, you saw me doing this old tracks, this path in the background. In the future I would like to make it this bike lane, which is actually very common in the region that I'm making here. Like the old tracks, the lines are not used in this day, so they are just transformed into this for example in here, bike lane. So that's how the first city entrance looks like. Of course there is a bridge, a old stone bridge. And right now we are moving to the main part of this episode, which is of course the old town of Trzcinawa. In here you can see me doing another river, which would be a Młynówka river. Młynówka literally means river which is used in the mill. And as you can see here, I've gotten this idea from Titan, I think, and from his Wittgenstein series, where he sort of used the UK roads and just plopped these water decals. And I think that it looked really nice, and I also wanted to do that here. And here you can see me doing this basic road layout of the old town. Of course, as you can see here, I'm inspired by the real life Trzcinawa city, but the road layout and the main look on the city that I have in my mind is different. I was testing these well, various roads, but I ended up with this basic vanilla roads and some asphalt. In here there's the first building, which is of course the town hall, and of course the main church, which would be St. Michael's Cathedral. Of course, Trzcinawa was a bishop's city. And in here, you know, just placing these very basic main buildings that are the core of the city. And in almost every building in here, you can see me changing the rooftop color. And that's just, well, very simple explanation to that, because I just wanted to be as much historically accurate as possible. So, well, it's pretty obvious that there are regions where, for example, there is clay and the rooftops are made with clay, or for example, and in here they are reddish color, but for example in some regions in France, Belgium, United Kingdom, you have these, for example, black rooftops or gray. You know, it's just it's very there is a lot of variety in this topic. In here I placed, of course, the Biedronka store, which is a must-have. And of course, well, the old town itself was destroyed many times in the history of Trzcinawa. Well, not only by the recent wars, like the Second World War, where the Red Army was stationing in Trzcinawa, and that was, well, very destructible for the city, but even the First World War. But of course, in these cities, every couple of 100 years there was this big fire that vanished all of the buildings, especially if the region was poorer and, well, the housing was wooden. So in here the most buildings are from 19th century, and of course there are some exceptions like this church, this Baroque cathedral, and the town hall. But of course there are some post-World War II communists from the Polish People's Republic housing, which is, I think it's going to be shown in a minute. Yeah, right there by the town hall there's this big block of houses. It's very common because, well, it's much easier for people to, for the city itself to build, well, this new, more productive, there was more space, buildings, instead of rebuilding these historical housing. And of course, every building, as you can see in here, almost every older building has this red rooftop. And just some basic details here and there. You know, and of course all these services, pharmacy, emergency buildings, hospitals and all that. Well, city, apart of being, well, nice and good looking, it has to be functional. That's one of the rules that I play by in City Skylines. And here by the church you can see me also doing this industrial part of the city. It's one of the two in the old town. And here you have the Młynówka River, which was the main source of water in Trzcinawa, because the main river, which is of course the ODRA river, is, well, far away, we could say, from the city. Of course, some basic markings. I really like these cafes and little shops that you can just put into these buildings. I really like this detail. It just adds a little more life to the city. Here we can see me trying to deal with procedural objects. After all these years, I'm still not fully convicted to this mod. I'm so hard fighting. I just fight with this. And I can win. But in here, I think I won. And of course, low density housing. We have to remember that the Trzcinawa city is not metropolia, it's a small, well, not even void of ship city. At the end of the video you will see why I did these rooftops, and I think you can already see it. Well, it's just, it adds much more unity to all these buildings. Well, without it, I think the city would be just one big, as we call it in Poland, mishmash, which is just basically very much different things. And here, what I probably enjoy the most in making City Skylines cities, which is of course the main market square, the historical market square. You know, just basic details, just these pillars, so that they secure people inside the market square from the cars. And of course these stains, I just love them. They make all the difference in the world. They are the must-have. You know, these little details, these bushes and these trees. And in here I have fought very much with these fountains, because I thought to myself that, well, I don't really want to have any statue here. Like, I see statues as some sort of, well, these big city monuments. I don't really think that it would fit here, so I decided to have this fountain, but to this day I'm not really committed to this. I don't think that it fits there, like this specific fountain. And in here, just them basic details, the backyards of this church area or cathedral area. Though of course the city itself and the project of course cannot be, well, very much highly detailed, because my computer simply just won't keep this up. So sometimes I have to abandon some of my ideas just so I can make this series a couple of episodes more. But I just couldn't resist myself when I saw these flowers. In here I decided to make another square, another market square. Well, Trzcinawa may be not the biggest town in the region, but it's not also that small. It had city rights, and well, it deserved a second market square. So here it is. Of course, today it's not, well, market. It's just some basic flowers and trees in the plats. I personally think that it turned out pretty nice. It's just another one nice detail that gives some more, well, life to the city. In here I made this little chapel. I thought that, well, maybe in this particular area there used to was some, well, let's say monastery that had this chapel. So here I started to make this the main city park. That I just got an idea that there should have been some remainings of the old city walls, and we're going to do that in the next episode. But we're also gonna do a big palace at the end of this park. I think that's really historically accurate to have this rural in the 18th or 19th century, where when the walls wasn't necessary, the town walls, to defend the city. So the local, well, rural, or maybe I should say the owner of the city, decided to make this palace that we are going to focus on in the another episode of the Trzcinawa. And we're actually gonna stay in here for a while, because, you know, making villages is fun, but actually the main point, the main thing that I wanted to accomplish as fast as I could is, of course, the Trzcinawa city. But from now on, in another Trzcinawa's episode, I won't be making, of course, Old Town, because Old Town is finished by the end of this episode. So we're gonna focus on the modernist, communist housing, and the 90s blocks, and of course the low density . In here I just figured out that I didn't, as you can see, I didn't turn off the level upgrade on some of the buildings, but I quickly got to this. And here you can see me doing some mishmash, another mishmash. And of course, where the parts of the city were destroyed in the Second World War, the new modernist buildings have been built to provide more space for people to live. And actually I think that everything that I wanted to say has been said, so I will be back when I would like to add something to what are you watching right now. In here there is this elementary school, more rural one. And of course at this point, well, after a couple of hours of work you become very lazy, so you just basically detailing is just copying everything from the other parts of this project, not only from Trzcinawa, but I also copied earlier from Orzechów. And in here you can see me doing the another industrial part right here. The first one was, of course, behind the church, behind the cathedral. And this is just a natural process of city growing. This was the first 19th century industrial revolution buildings. Very basic detailing, nothing really complicated. And there it is, Trzcinawa's old town. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you again in a week or so, where we're going to build the other parts of the Trzcinawa city, because this is just the beginning. Thank you for watching, stay tuned, bye.